Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Discussing Digital. And today I'm discussing digital with Melanie Griffiths. Melanie, could you give an overview of what you do and the name of your company for us, please, to start with?
So it's basically my name, Melanie Griffiths, although it was formerly Movement Junkie because it was more movement based. But I work with people, supporting them, helping them feel better in their bodies, improve their health and well-being. And we do this through movement, dance, and transformational energy healing work.
Okay, brilliant. And obviously today we're talking about digital marketing in particular, and how you use digital marketing to promote you and your business. So can you give us initially just a bit of an overview of how you use digital marketing at the moment, please?
Yeah. So I've been acquainting myself with social media. I had to resist the urge to do the
Not cross fingers, no.
yeah. And that's so I suppose digital marketing, email marketing. So I have a very small but building email list.
Mhm.
And I try and stay regularly in touch with those people with kind of long posts and then calls to action on I'm selling this or doing that. Do you want to come to this? That sort of thing. And I actually do the same with social media as well. So might tweak it slightly, but the same thing, longer story posts, telling people what I'm selling, literally, this is what it is, this is what it costs, this is where you get it. And then collecting testimonials. This is all new. This is all what I'm learning, collecting testimonials, sharing the testimonials. And I am also starting to do live video, which I still kind of, I like it, but I'm also nervous about it as well at the same time. But I'm noticing the live videos, when I look at the analytics, which I don't really understand, but when I look at them on LinkedIn, the analytics seem to go up because of the live videos.
That's really interesting. I mean, there's a few things you've covered off there that we can explore. Because I mean, before we started recording, we were talking about the fact that you've recently discovered StreamYard, which is what you're using for your live video broadcasts. But interesting, we hadn't really sort of talked about the analytics. So it's really interesting to hear that actually you are seeing a really positive result from, or you're seeing a positive result from actually doing those live videos.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm either rambling or talking absolute rubbish, but I think there is probably little nuggets of wisdom coming through. But I think it's the whole thing of just putting myself out there,
Yeah,
and what people get is your energy and your personality. And so, we know this, that people buy us and not our stuff. Obviously they are looking at us because there's something about our stuff they're interested
yeah,
in. But the bit that I think makes them want to connect is us, isn't it? It's the same for me. If I want to go and get something or want to work with someone, I want to like them, I want to trust them, I want to connect with them.
yeah,
I want to
yeah,
feel that synergy before I go and purchase from them. So I feel with video, even though it's scary, it's sort of like the quickest route to market in a way, because there you are. And the key is to not wait until your hair is dried or you've got your makeup on or your and I think, and that's the bit I notice I still get a little bit faffy around, that I'll go, oh, I'm not quite ready, I just need to mess around with the camera here, or I wore that top yesterday, let me go and find something else, what's going on with my hair, have I.
yeah. I mean, obviously, a few of those, like hair, I don't suffer from, but I do know what you mean. But I think one of the good things is once you've kind of got over that, so you're doing a lot of done is better than perfect type things because you're
Yeah,
getting it done.
yeah,
Because it's so easy to spend a lot of time faffing, sort of, as you say, it's easy to kind of really get caught up in the minutiae of the detail.
yeah,
But you also mentioned energy and stuff like that, and obviously you are a very energetic person. That's my view of you. I mean, we met. well, we've actually never physically met, but we met online through a networking group. And when you do your 60 seconds actually gets everybody around the country who's doing the 60, who's on that meeting, doing some sort of exercise routine. I always have to be a bit conscious because because you go stand up, and I think when I stand up, I'm not quite sure which part of my body my video camera is going to be showing. But you convert your lounge into a studio and stuff like that, and it's all part of the energy. But that all comes across on all your other content as well, which I think is great.
Yeah. Oh, that's really good. That is good to hear. And I think that comment, done is better than perfect, that for me has been gold. That just remembering that in my head the whole time. And when I think about it, I think actually I'm a fairly creative, chaotic person in life. So to try and be something I'm not on the video, it would actually be misrepresenting myself anyway. So
Yeah. And we talked about that beforehand, didn't we? A bit about the it's important that you are yourself. So
yeah.
that, yeah, we've talked about the Marmite. Is it but I think that's really important. I mean, do you want to expand a bit more about
Yeah. Well, I
also?
think our natural our natural thing as people, particularly British people, is to censor. Is and the minute that we're in front of a camera or a video, we start to censor ourselves. And I think it's almost unconscious a lot of the time, to the point that people won't go anywhere near doing a live video because they're so afraid. And I think it's sort of baby steps to get into that place. And I know I'm getting more and more bold about what I want to say. And it's so funny. I've noticed that I'll put a video out there, or I'll say something and I'll think, oh, that was a bit near the mark as I'm sort of speaking. Video goes out there, crickets. And I think, oh, it doesn't matter. I just keep going. And so I think you're constantly, if you're a bit nervous of doing video, you're constantly refining that part of you until you get to that point where
Yeah.
you're at sailor speak, if
Yeah.
that's where you go.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is because, like, we see the telly and we see news presenters and stuff like that, and they're all very kind of for a long
Green.
time it was weird. This is the BBC, we have to speak like this, and we can't say and ah because they're all perfect, but actually most people, there you go, I've just done do have those pauses and those sort of, there's those little sounds that we make just to kind of just get our thoughts in place. And it's not a problem, and one of the other things I'd like to sort of think about is the fact that since COVID, we've been, all of us, spending a lot more time talking to each other on video links, on Zoom or Teams or whatever. And if you're just in a meeting, you don't, quite often, most people aren't self-conscious. It's only when you suddenly go, oh, we're doing an actual proper video, that suddenly that self-consciousness kicks in again.
It's the performance element. It's that sort of, suddenly you feel like I don't know, there's some sort of extra pressure. You're on display and you've got to provide something extra. And I really noticed this, having done a lot of stage performance, that it's stripping away those barriers between you and the audience. And I think really the people that are the most successful out there on the live video are those who are uncensored selves.
Yeah.
And I think it can take a while to get to that, because if you're censoring yourself in your own life, because we do that too, don't we?
Yes. Yeah.
We censor in our own lives. So then to suddenly become even more uncensored in front of a load of people that you don't know at all, or you might have loads of people watching or no one, seems like a big ask. So I think for me, I've worked a lot more on myself over the years in terms of just being my true self in life. Then that makes it easier to go, right, let's just put the camera in front, carry on doing what you're doing.
Yes, yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean, but and it's not just in the live videos, is it? I know we've talked about this in the past about actually being able to be yourself even when you're just creating a post.
Yeah.
And this is a nice segue into the LinkedIn post when I asked you about what's your most successful post, and the one you shared, I don't know if you remember it, is the one about saying, "What do you think of me is not my problem." So,
I
but
love that.
Yeah, but I seem to remember when we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago, you were saying that was actually quite a cathartic post, that you were
Yeah,
just kind of letting something go that you'd been trying to kind of flex with and things like that.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. And I've noticed that I actually find the writing element of content creation easier than the live video. So I would be more, it would feel more comfortable to hide in the writing posts, I think. Um, and that wasn't always that case either. So it took me a while to get to that point of being able to let myself kind of loose on the page, so to speak. Um,
yes,
and yeah, and just be able to sort of write from the heart, really. And
yeah.
again, it's that Marmite factor. And I noticed that those posts where I am more uncensored are usually more successful. Sometimes I'll create a post and I'll think, oh yeah, that was a good one, put it out there, crickets.
Yeah,
Another one cobbled together in about 2 minutes. I'll just put your, oh, that's a bit rough and ready. Loads of engagement.
yeah.
So
It's fascinating, isn't it?
yeah.
And that maybe gives us a chance to talk a little bit about your thought process or your creation process for creating content. I mean, do you have a process where you think what's pre-planned, or an approach just for creating your content in general?
Now I feel like I should say, yes, I have this amazing strategic process, but no, that's not the case at all. Actually, it has evolved. So it started off with when I first wanted to sort of go on social media. I don't know if you know the wonderful Jade Arnell from the
I don't, but I'm going to have to go and find them now.
Yes, yes. So Jade did a talk for Portsmouth Business Exchange on how to create content. She was just a 10-minute talk, and it was like writing a blog piece. Out of this blog piece, you took 8 sentences and fleshed them out a little bit.
Mhm.
And because I didn't know where to start, so I followed this format. And at some point, I think it started to feel a bit clunky for me. And I realized it was because I was ready to just start writing more. And so it went from that structure to mostly I would say it's like an energetic download. And I know we should repurpose. I hear that all the time. Repurpose, repurpose, repurpose. But what I often find is I go, oh, what shall I share today? And then I'll get a thought and I'll just write. And it goes from there. So it's probably not very helpful for people, but it's
No,
challenging
but
process for me.
yeah, but actually, it is helpful because there are an awful lot of people out there that go, I really struggle with anything structured. So actually, to hear there are people out there that are busy doing lots of posts, a lot of content, actually. And it's not that it's not thought out, because probably subconsciously you've got things going on in the back of your heads and things
Yeah,
like that that help it. But actually, you're not sitting here with a big old spreadsheet that's got hundreds of rows and columns and going, that's what I've got to do today. It's almost like, and I know you also, got quite a lot of belief in energy and things like that. So it's almost your subconscious and other things that you believe in that are driving you to create
yeah,
that content in your own way.
yeah.
Um,
I draw on my own life experiences as well and how
yeah,
they're relevant to what I'm doing.
yeah,
Experiences I have with family, home, life, students, clients. I just draw on it all. And I think, how is this? I suppose would be the unconscious process. How is this relevant to the people that I'm connecting with?
hmm,
And then it informs itself.
yeah, yeah.
And and I think the written posts feel more formed than the live videos at the moment. That still feels a bit kind of like, what? Like, what's coming through now? Like, I'll put a title on the live videos when I do the StreamYard thing. And then I'll go on video and start talking about something completely different. And I think,
Yeah, but like I said, you're out there and doing it, and I
yeah,
don't think there's anything wrong with how you start thinking you're going to talk about something and then it goes in a different direction.
yeah,
But that's natural conversation, and again, that's kind of a bit more about what we've been
yeah.
talking about, isn't it?
And if you think too long about how you're going to do it, you wouldn't do it. You don't
Yeah,
do it.
yeah,
And I think it would be encouraging people just to kind of be more themselves out there.
yeah,
Um, and just because I think people have loads of wisdom sitting within them that they overlook because they don't think it's relevant to whatever they're selling.
Yeah.
Or and so they kind of shove it aside and then try to create something that they think, but actually the fact that they're in whatever they're doing for work, there's probably a natural connection between who they are and what they're doing.
Yeah, you know, and I think, you know, we've talked about offline, I think, about the fact that about storytelling, and you've got a very, very interesting story, backstory behind you. And we can point people to the podcast you did with Steve O'Neill, because you cover a lot of that in that. If you want to know more about Melanie, go and find that. I'll try and put a link to it somewhere, because it is a fascinating story. But also we were talking about getting into that whole habit of done is better than perfect. So, you know, getting out and doing it. And linked to that, actually, we again, because we prior to the show we were talking about how you are exploring more and more with video and things like that. And I said about, have you thought about TikTok? And you said not yet.
I said, yeah, I said, I know I should, big word, should.
Yeah.
And I see I like you were saying, I see the potential, definitely see the potential. But I sort of made a conscious decision that I wanted to get really comfortable with using social media. So I decided to kind of focus on the platforms that I was already on and growing those.
Yeah.
And then at some point I thought I'll migrate over, or I'll add that into the mix.
Yeah.
When I started to do more with social media, it felt like a little bit too much to add in. But
and I think that's, I mean, one that's really good self-awareness, but also it's really sensible. So actually, you know, you're getting into that habit of doing posts on platforms that you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
And then once you've got all that working for you, and it feels comfortable, so you're doing StreamYard and other video things and things like that, then you can maybe look at, when you're ready, exploring other platforms. I mean, that's a very, very sensible thing to do, because sometimes it's, you know, easy to chase the next shiny objects and not actually concentrate on one thing.
And I think people get overwhelmed. There's so much information out there about how to do social media, and there's obviously great information out there, but it's also completely overwhelming.
Yeah.
And I think if it's not your business, but you've got to do it for your business, you want the quickest route to market. So you want to do things that feel manageable for you so that you can get it going.
Yes.
And then you can kind of expand. That's my sense of it all.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very, very, very sensible approach. You know, that you know, you're doing not quite one thing, because you are on multiple platforms. As you say, you're on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, as well as having a YouTube channel. So you are doing a lot of different channels, but yeah, as you say, the other ones that you're familiar with, and then you're doing the other stuff later on, which exactly the right thing to do.
And I think it's also, I was just thinking about it, because my YouTube channel's got something like about 34 subscribers, so it's really, really tiny. But I think there was something, I thought about it and I thought, actually, you've just got to kind of forget about all of that and just keep going out there.
Yeah.
Keep talking from your heart, and just whatever is important to you, and don't worry about who might be listening or watching, and just and that can be quite hard, because you know, if you haven't got any feedback, you're sort of going, where is this landing? If you get kind of dodgy feedback, because there's lots of weird and wonderful people out there who will want to comment, then that can also, you know, throw you.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of going, okay, no, I'm just going to keep going with this. I've got something to say, I've got something to sell, and I'm just going to keep getting out there.
Yeah, and I think you are absolutely spot on. And it is easy to get hung up on, oh, I haven't got many followers, or I haven't got many subscribers. But actually, you've got to start somewhere, right? And by having content out there that people start to like, and things like that, slowly but surely, that's how you help to grow it. And YouTube's quite hard anyway. Whereas other social media platforms, you can effectively start following somebody else and comment, and then they'll follow back a lot
Yeah.
easier. YouTube's not quite as easy to do that sort of thing, and it feels like sometimes something will just happen suddenly where
Yeah.
it starts to grow. I mean, I've probably got about the same number of followers subscribers as you at the moment. But again, you just got to put content out there.
Yeah, I got a new one last week and I was like, oh my God, on YouTube.
Yeah, but which is nice, isn't it? At least it gives you, yeah, you sort of. So when it's small, you can celebrate each individual one, in its own way. Um,
Yeah.
and like I said, I find YouTube a bit of an odd one to grow. Some people it just seems to hit the right spot
Yeah.
instantly, and others but again, it goes back being consistent, and that sort of thing. So. And I know you share all your StreamYard videos on there as well. I can see that. So again,
Yeah.
you're creating content, and that's the first thing. There's lots more to it. Make sure you've got the right tags and all that kind of stuff on it. But it's all you've got to have the stuff there to start with. That's
I
the first thing.
know. And I think the things that stop people is that whole got to get it right, got to know what I'm doing. And I think actually, no, just do it. You're going to get it wrong. You're going to fall over. Remember learning to walk? That didn't happen in a straight line, did it?
No, exactly.
Yeah, but every time you fell over as a toddler, you just got back up and started moving again. And it's the same thing. I always
Yep.
think that with anything we're learning, it's just
Yeah.
you just have to keep getting back up. And I've noticed going through using social media, going through these sort of periods of growth with it of, oh, I feel drained by it. Oh, I don't want to do another post. Oh, nobody's listening or watching. Those are all of the emotions. And
Yeah.
then I go, okay, now you've had your little tantrum. Get back up, just put another post out, keep going.
Yeah, that's right. And as you were saying earlier, and suddenly that one will get loads of traction, and suddenly you feel, yeah, it's very strange, isn't it?
It is a bizarre world. It is a bizarre world. And
Yeah,
I would still say, even though, it's a massive part of our lives now and our business lives as well, I still say to people, it's not real life. You do need to remember that. It's like,
yeah, and there's lots of other ways of marketing as well. So yeah, you got to remember it's all part of actually trying to help grow your business.
yeah,
And are you feeling that, generally speaking, your recent burst in activity and that sort of thing is having a
yeah.
positive impact? Yeah,
I have definitely had more inquiries and bookings. I've had more one-to-one clairvoyant healing bookings since I started doing it, and I've had more inquiries about classes and things. So it is definitely having more of a reach.
yeah. Brilliant. That's great because that again sometimes it's not easy it goes back to looking at numbers and stuff like that, but you can see a positive impact of what you're doing, even though sometimes you don't see that positive impact in interactions on your posts.
Yeah, exactly. And I also think it can take a while as well.
Yeah.
And are there statistics, I don't know them, about how many times someone has to see,
Yeah, yeah. And I can't remember. I'm sure at one point the number was 7, and I've heard the number's 28 or something. So you've got to have a lot of things going out there.
And you just keep talking, haven't you, about what, because I think, oh, this is what goes through my head. Oh God, everybody already knows I do this. Why do I need to talk about it again? And then I'll get a message saying from someone, I didn't know you did dance holidays. And I'm thinking, what's talking about? Or
Yeah.
I've been doing them for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, yeah. But as you say, it's either new followers who haven't seen some of those posts in the past, or they may have been sort of following you for ages, but the algorithm just hasn't put it in front of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I think you just have to, and I've done posts like, did I do something recently about, if you don't like what I'm talking about, just scroll on by.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, I could do a reel with a Dionne Warwick song there.
Yeah. Oh, I love that idea. I love it. Yeah. Well, let me know when you're going to do it because I have to go and see it because I won't scroll on by. That's brilliant. I am conscious about time, so as I did give you a heads up beforehand, there's 2 things I ask every guest. The first, or 2 tips I ask people to give. The first tip is something that you advise somebody that's a really good tip? Do this, do that. Yeah, make sure you keep doing this. So what is your good tip?
It's the basic, it's the Nike thing. Just do it. Just what just start using whatever platform you want to start using, and start talking to people, whether you're doing in your posts, your writing posts, or your video posts, and keep doing it. It's the start, and then be consistent with it.
Yeah.
No matter what comes up, just keep doing it.
Yeah, no, that's really good. Just do it. And obviously, there are other branded trainers available, not just Nike, but
Yes. Yeah, didn't mean to give them an extra plug.
But it's a good strap line.
It's a good strap line, yeah.
Dear. And conversely, is there something that you should say, look, just don't do that, or just don't fall into that trap? So the opposite, not just do it, just don't do it.
Yeah, basically, I think people let their emotions get in the way. They let time and fear, and those become the excuses. Or well, you don't usually use the excuse of being afraid. You usually find some other excuse, but ultimately it's fear, or I haven't got time. And it's actually saying, actually, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm just going to do it anyway. So I'm going to quote someone else now, the amazing Susan Jeffers, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. There's a whole book on it.
Yeah. And it's a very good book and a
Very,
good piece of advice. Yeah.
yes, exactly. Yeah.
That's brilliant. Well, thank you so much for your time. Final thing, if somebody wants to get in contact with you, obviously we will in the show notes, there'll be all links to your things, but what is the best way to get hold of you if they want to know more about you, or to book into any of your classes or anything like that?
So I'm on Facebook. It's me, Melanie Griffiths. Same on LinkedIn, and Instagram is Movement Melanie.
Okay.
And it's the same picture logo. So those are the best ways. And just send me a message. Yeah, just say hello. I really like it when people say hello.
Okay. Well, I'll make sure I encourage people to say hello to you.
Yeah.
which is an interesting thing, because I'm about to say goodbye to you. So I'd just like to thank you so much for taking the time to be on this episode of Discussing Digital. Really enjoyed having a chat.
Oh no, it's great. It's really great. And I hope it inspires more people to use social media, or well, whatever digital marketing they're doing, to keep connecting with their peoples.